may already be streaming and we don't even know it.
Live.
From all
The
over
web.
the world, live from the Citadel. So, dun, dun, dun. There's just a screen on my page. I don't know if it's done or not. It kind of acts like
It does say
podcast
meeting
is-
is now streaming live on custom live streaming service.
Thank you for that. So, because of that, welcome to Table Read Tuesday. Today, we're reading another animated TV show, Rick and Morty. And in the show, almost all the characters are the same, but none of us characters are the same. So I'm going to introduce you to all of them. And first we have Erin Lillis.
Hi, I'm Erin. I am a voice actress, and tonight we're playing several Ricks and several Mortys. And you can find more about me at erinlillis.com.
All right. And how about you, Ari?
Hi, I'm Ari Williamson, and tonight I'll be playing the part of a lot of Ricks.
A lot of Ricks. All right. Can people find you anywhere?
Oh yeah, sorry. You can find me on Facebook as Ari Williamson.
Very cool. Next, Tim Keatsman. Welcome back. Okay,
It's Tim D. Keatsman, and therefore I am the resident impressionist here. I'll be playing Ricks and Mortys here, and initially reading the scene descriptions. And my Instagram is right there on the thing, on the caption, Toonie Tim Keatsman. And I'm gonna have lots of fun tonight. Yeah.
Perfect. We didn't double check this because you volunteered to read for a little bit the last minute. Do you have the script?
Yes, I
Do you
do.
have the scroll? Okay, sweet. All right, and then next we have Vicky Dykes.
Hello, I'm Vicky Dykes. I'm from Central Alberta. I'm an actress. You can find me on Instagram under YogaGramma7, and I'm on Facebook under Vicky Dykes. Tonight, I'm the main Morty, and I'm a few other Mortys, and I'm actually a few Ricks too.
Awesome. And we have Heather Lee Cameron.
Hello, my name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor / voice actor. I'm a writer / freelance journalist. I'm an independent filmmaker, and I'm a family history research student. Things I've been involved in lately: finishing my certificate in family history research and reading audio plays of season 1 of Gravity Falls with Court Jester Productions. That's hosted by Court Jester VA via Discord, and it's streamed to YouTube. Links to that can be found on my YouTube channel, The Storm and Latter-day Saint, or through my Instagram, which is called Heather Lee Cameron. And again, they're led by Court Jester VA, and they're season 1 of Gravity Falls. We're going to start season 2. And these are just audio recreations of us narrating. They're not associated with Disney, and they can be found on YouTube. They're wonderful. They're fun. I've played so many different characters. Just a good bunch of voice exercises. And that's what I've been up to lately. Oh, yes. And I believe not too long ago, I also had the table read of my first draft of Valley of Shadows, read by this group, which is about, well, you can watch the table read yourself and find out what it's about, because it's a very sensitive subject, but it meant a lot to me to have it read. Anyway, you can find my work on Facebook under Heather Lee Freelancer, or on YouTube under The Storm and Latter-day Saint. And anybody who's interested in the conversation about work or anything else can reach me on my social medias or at heather.lee.cameron@gmail.com.
All right, thank you, Heather. And next we have Roxane.
Hello, I'm Roxane Armstrong. I'm an actor here in Central Alberta, also a social marketer for a health and wellness company. I am on Instagram as Roxane and Facebook as Roxane Armstrong. And that's all I got for tonight.
All right, that's more than enough. That's great. And we have Morgan Toll.
Hello, I am Morgan. I am a actor, voice actor, SAG-AFTRA. I'm also the talent partnership executive at streamily.com. And you can find me only on Instagram at Morgan Elizabeth Toll.
Wonderful. All right, and that's this cast of characters. So Tim D. Keatsman, when you're ready, please share your screen, share the script, and scroll so others can follow along and read along. And I'll be joining you again in a moment.
Here we are.
Sweet.
Okay, just a moment. All right. Sorry, one more time. All right. So, Rick and Morty, Tales from the Citadel. Morty's home, garage, it's during the day. Rick finishes loading a spear into a spear gun. Morty is wearing flippers, a scuba tank, and mask.
All right, Morty, you ready for our adventure to the lost city of Atlantis?
Who's next?
Ready as I'll ever be, Rick.
A portal opens, and another Rick and Morty come through.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Hello, I'm Rick K22. This is my Morty. We're going from reality to reality, asking Ricks to contribute to the Citadel of Rick's redevelopment fund.
What are you, stupid? We're done with the Citadel of Ricks. I was never on board with it in the first place. That's why I murdered everyone in charge and left it to rot.
Oh, that was you.
Oh, they tried to murder him first.
Ah, geez. Well, you'll be happy to know the council's gone now.
Oh, yeah, he knows. He murdered them.
You want to rein in your Morty?
Every day.
The Citadel of Rick's redevelopment fund donates.
Morty, he's not going to donate. You're pitching the policeman ball to a black teenager here.
Other Rick shoots a portal.
Let's go.
Other Rick ushers other Morty through the portal.
You don't have to be a dick.
I think you know that's not true.
He leaves, and the portal closes. Morty raises his scuba mask thoughtfully.
Geez, I didn't know there was still Rickies and Mortys living on the Citadel. I wonder what wonder what their day-to-day lives are like.
Well, you keep wondering that while we go on a fun, fresh, self-contained adventure to Atlantis.
Rick shoots a portal.
Anyone continuing to explore the Citadel is either stupid or one of the unfortunate millions held hostage by their terrible ideas.
Oh, man, I'm glad I'm not one of them.
Rick and Morty charge gleefully through it as we cut to the Citadel of Ricks. We push in on it. Joe Walsh's In the City begins to play. Rick and Morty, Tales from the Citadel. We take in the complex majesty of the Citadel of Ricks. Thousands of Ricks walk the bustling sidewalk on their way to work. A construction zone rebuilding a city skyscraper. A large metal beam is lowered as Rick construction workers mill about. Campaign manager Morty, a world-weary Morty wearing a button-up shirt and tie with rolled-up shirt sleeves, reads the paper. He throws some money on the counter and walks out the door. Campaign manager Morty tries to hail a passing Rick hover taxi. It blows past him and picks up a businessman Rick. A Rick in the uniform of a police lieutenant walks behind a line of Rick cop cadets in a firing range, each shooting freeze rays, each wearing a CRPD sweatshirt. The lieutenant arrives at a focused cadet who's faster than the others. In front of them on the firing range, nozzled vats of goo slide forward and backward in each lane on a ceiling-mounted track, depositing wads of goo that instantly grow into armed gromflomites, each of which charges forward before getting taken out by the freeze ray. Randomly, one of the wads grows into a gromflomite with crutches. The focused cop cadet pauses, then blasts the gromflomite. The impressed lieutenant checks the box on a Rick pad, which displays accuracy 100%. The lieutenant salutes the cadet, who just became a Rick cop. A picture of Jessica is taped to the inside door of a locker. The bell rings. A Morty student gathers books and closes it, revealing rows of other Morty students at their lockers with similar pictures of Jessica. They rush off to their classes around a vigilant, judgmental Rick teacher. A commuter train filled with blue-collar Ricks, who all simultaneously sip from their flasks. A working class Rick looks out the window at a fancier Rick commuting in a sweet-looking hover car, eating sardines and drinking champagne. Working class Rick sighs. The train they're on speeds by on its way to the factory district. We stay behind on one of the Citadel's many Times Square-style billboard media panels, which is showing the title graphics for Citadel Morning News. In the City fades out as the news titles begin to play. The video from the billboard goes full screen. Titles and music for Announcer Rick.
Citadel Morning News. News about the Citadel in the morning. Pretty self-explanatory.
A Rick News co-anchor greets the audience. He has a horrible scar down one side of his face.
Good morning, I'm Rick D716B.
The Rick News anchor is identical, but without the scar.
And I'm Rick D716.
Must be nice.
A holographic Mortys over his shoulder shows Ricks and Mortys floating around in Sanchez Heights.
Coming up, gravity outages in the East Sanchez Heights.
We then see a holographic image of an arm with a uranium-powered subdermal cellular matrix.
And is your uranium powered subdermal cellular matrix making you sick? The answer may not surprise you because it's yes.
Those stories and more after this break.
A Rick in a short-sleeve button shirt and no lab coat is making something at work at a workbench. Sam Elliott does a voiceover befitting a serious domestic beer commercial. Sam Elliott.
There's a Rick that works more with wood than polarity plating.
Reveal this Rick is finishing making a shitty jewelry box. As Sam Elliott continues, Rick gift wraps the jewelry box. Sam Elliott.
I think Morgan's having trouble with her sound.
Oh dear.
His name is Simple Rick, but he's no dummy.
Rick looks through a camcorder as 3-year-old Beth blows out candles on a cake.
He realized long ago the greatest thing he'd ever create was his daughter. I love Daddy.
Rick lowers the camera, a tear forming in his eye.
We captured that moment.
We pull out from that memory and are looking at the tear-stained face of a catatonic Rick, aka Simple Rick, strapped to a platform with a cyber helmet on his head.
We run it on a loop through Simple Rick's mind.
And we pull it out further revealing that Simple Rick's platform is part of a complex machine that involves a thin hose coming from the back of his head.
And the chemical it makes his brain secrete goes into every Simple Wafer's wafer cookie.
Tight close-ups of a wafer cookie being assembled, chocolate descending onto a wafer, etc.
Come home to the impossible flavor of your own emotional complexion. Come home to Simple Rick's.
Back in the news studio,
Just one day remains before our newly democratic citadel elects its first president. It's anyone's race among the Rick candidates.
a graphic of 5 Rick candidates with poll numbers split. Retired General Rick, Private Sector Rick, Juggling Rick, Rick Guilt Rick, and Reverse Rick Outrage Rick.
But a certain other candidate should get at least one vote for most adorable.
Holoclip. A candidate Morty visits with injured Mortys in a hospital. He shakes hands with an elephant trunk Morty, then takes pictures with a Morty trapped in a crystal.
That's right. The Morty Party candidate's still in the race, and you just gotta love him for that.
Here you see him in his little Morty suit waving.
Holoclip. Candidate Morty waves in front of a campaign van.
Aw, I want one of those for my Morty.
Holoclip. Candidate Morty gives a speech next to a newly unveiled statue of a Morty being pulled through a portal.
Yeah, I think we actually have the audio for this speech here. Oh man, I'm gonna lose this election and stuff.
The anchors laugh together. Campaign manager Morty and a room of Morty staffers watch the coverage on a monitor. Morty staffers boo and heckle.
Yes, people, the game is rigged, but what if I told you this campaign wasn't about winning?
I'd say that sounds like a losing strategy. The incredibly charismatic candidate Morty has entered the room. The Morty staffers rush back to work, covering their defeatism. Campaign manager Morty is equally embarrassed and takes it out on the staff as candidate Morty approaches.
All right, back to work. I was ramping up to something inspirational. About tonight's debate, I think we should skip it.
You're just full of ways to give up today.
Sir, someone has to say it. You can't win. What you can do with this debate is be ridiculed on camera by 5 Ricks and become part of the reason Mortys lose their faith in the...
Sounds like you've already lost faith, young man. He turns and walks off. Campaign Morty watches him go.
You pay me to be practical, sir. Also, we're both 14.
A Morty pride parade marches down the street. Mortys hold up Vote Morty signs. Some have their faces painted. The Rick cop from the cadet scene earlier watches from across the street as he takes a sip of coffee. A squad hover car zooms around the corner. Mortys jump out of the way to avoid being hit. The car pulls up in front of the Rick cop. The window rolls down, revealing a paunchy, jaded Morty cop.
Oh, sorry. I was expecting.
Rick Gardner, lesson 1, rookie. Expect the unexpected. Now get in.
Rick climbs in and buckles up. Morty cop flashes his lights, honking and nudging Mortys out of the way. A Morty voter jumps in front of the car.
Mortys are human.
Get the fuck out of the car, you reckless fucking animal.
Morty cop pushes a button on the dash, and the Morty voter is hit with a zap of electricity.
The election's got these yellow shirts more riled than a picture day, Jessica. Turns out you don't fake a zoo by opening the cages. You just make a jungle.
Well, that's pretty harsh, sir.
So report me. Nobody gives a fuck.
Look, I'm just saying, makes me a little sad to hear a Morty cop calling Mortys animals.
Well, it makes me sad to hear another Rick cop buying into his sensitivity training.
Well, I'm glad to know there's more like me.
There was one. Why do you think that seat was empty?
A call comes over the radio.
Robbery at Fifth and Avenue.
Fifth and oh, that's Morty Town.
Unit 7 responding. Welcome to the jungle.
The siren roars to life as Morty Cop aggressively zaps a Morty pedestrian and turns down a road. Factory worker Ricks work at various stations along a wafer cookie production line. We follow a wafer down the line, watching it get assembled until it reaches working class Rick. He uses a machine to stamp a simple Rick's logo on the wafers as they roll past him. A supervisor Rick strolls onto the floor with a clipboard.
All right, listen up, fucknuts. The Ricks upstairs tell me if we hit our quota this week, we can expect a little something extra in our stockings. So I want to see asses in gear today. That means you, B44, you lazy gold ricker.
Some chuckles from the floor.
Excuse me, sir.
You hear what I just said, J22?
Yeah, about that, sir. Well, I've been on the line for a while now, and I was wondering, I want a promotion.
Supervisor Rick can't believe it.
Surely you must know that my skills can be put to better use. I mean, after all, I'm
A genius. Hey, we got any other geniuses here?
The factory worker Ricks all laugh.
But I was told when I arrived at the Citadel that I would eventually.
Look, pal, if you're not happy here, you're free to go back wherever pot nuck reality you came from. My advice, use that genius IQ of yours to figure out a way to be happy making cookies.
Working class Rick lowers his head in shame. So then we go to the Rick School for Mortys. A stern-looking Rick teacher from the earlier hallway scene lectures a classroom of Mortys.
Well, meeting your new Rick, you'll greet him in a manner befitting an Academy Morty. Hello, Rick.
The class repeats, "Hello, Rick."
I'm Morty.
Slick, a cool Morty, sits in the back with his friends. Scales, a cynical lizard Morty. Tubbs, a chubby Morty with a speech impediment. And Specs, a sensitive, thoughtful Morty. The class repeats, "I'm Morty."
I'm farty.
The classroom titters.
Something you'd like to share with the rest of the class? E3 4B.
I was just saying how you're a true inspiration to Morty's everywhere.
More titters.
Very amusing. Mr. Smith, almost as amusing as when your first Rick was decapitated on the Parthentheon 9.
A hush falls over the classroom.
Or was that your third Rick? How many Ricks have you had?
5.
I see. So you are top of the class in something.
Some of the other students giggle. This stings, Slick.
Tomorrow you'll be transferred to your new Ricks. Hopefully they will be your last. Yes, slow Rick. Tall. Tall. Morty.
Slow Rick. A Rick dressed like a Morty, seated among the students, has his hand up.
Did I graduate this time yet? Anything is possible, Tall Morty.
Rick teacher makes a wide-eyed yeesh face at the rest of the class. The Mortys all laugh. The bell rings and all the students exit, except for our 4 Morty-teers, who stay in their seats, looking somber.
I guess we won't be seeing each other after this, huh?
The Mortys know he's right. Slick makes a decision.
I say we make our last day count. I say we go to the wishing portal.
The other Mortys have clearly heard of it.
That's a myth.
It's not a myth. My first Rick's fourth Morty knew a Rick whose Morty went there.
If we're not here for graduation, our butts are going to wind up in Morty Town. I thought your last Rick fused you with a lizard, not a chicken. Okay, fine, I'm in.
He puts his hand in the center.
Me too.
One by one, the rest of them join their hands.
Okay, when do we go? Now.
They all smile at each other. Morty Town streets. The cop car rolls through Morty Town. Sketchy Mortys with urban affectations, like Tupac-style rags and cigarettes behind the ears, regard them with suspicion and challenging glares as bass-laden music adds to the tension of simmering class warfare. Rick Cop tries to keep a poker face.
No Ricks, no families, high off their asses and running amok. Mortys are raised to be sidekicks. Without a sidekick, they just start kicking.
Rick Cop questions a Morty store owner outside his shop.
Oh, they were about my height, around 14 years old. Oh, and their shirts were yellow.
Morty Cop smirks as Rick Cop writes it all down.
Yeah, make sure to write that down.
Any mutations, augmentations, 3 eyes, a tail? Oh, maybe a buzz cut? No, just 4 normal Mortys.
A purple Morty with a mouth on a stalk sweeps nearby.
Normal.
But put it in your blog, yeah.
Let me turn over a few rocks.
Morty Cop approaches a pair of street punk Mortys spray painting an M over a citadel, R down the street.
Aw, geez. Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Oh, geez, man. Nothing. We're just hanging out and stuff.
I hear that. Oh, geez. I guess I'm supposed to be figuring out who robbed the store across the street. But geez, I don't know.
Oh, geez, man. That sucks that your Rick's making you do that. Morty Cop's expression changes.
He's not my Rick, he's my partner. Geez.
Oh, geez. Well, maybe the uniform makes a big difference. Who am I to say? To me, you just look like a sidekick. Morty Cop throws street punk number 1 against the wall and shoves his sci-fi gun in his mouth. Rick Cop watches in concern.
Call me a sidekick one more time. Call me a sidekick.
Hey, man, come on. Oh, jeez.
You want to see how I paint a wall?
It was the Morty Town, locos, man, and the Morty Town locos.
Morty Cop removes the gun from the thug's mouth. The street punks run off. Morty Cop walks back over to Rick Cop.
Do you realize how many codes you just violated?
Geez, Rick, what do I know about knowing stuff? Get in the fucking car.
5 candidate Ricks stand at a row of podiums. The Morty candidate is among them.
More lasers. More lasers.
Moderator Rick.
Oh, shit, it's me. So, you can make more time to answer the questions if you like. Okay, Juggling Rick, how do you solve the Citadel's financial crisis?
Juggling Rick, an otherwise regular Rick in a suit, gives a nod from his podium.
First off, can I just say that I believe this citadel is the greatest in the entire multiverse? Now, I believe the answer to your question has 3 parts. First, education spending must get much higher.
Campaign manager Morty is watching the debate on a monitor.
But it has to be balanced with defense. Whoa, yeah!
Juggling Rick pulls out a chainsaw, throws that into the mix.
Can we fact check this, please? Never mind. Who am I kidding? This race is over.
Juggling Rick finishes juggling, takes a bow.
And that's how you run a citadel.
Polite applause.
So sorry. Candidate Morty, the number of displaced Mortys is soaring while Rick's satisfaction levels are plummeting, and the divide between the two groups has never been wider. Solve that one real quick.
I don't see a divide between Rick's and Morty's.
Shocker. Shocker.
Retired General Rick farts. The audience laughs.
I'd like to offer a rebuttal.
He farts a really long, sustained fart.
Gentlemen, I think we can all agree on one thing. Well, it came out as 2 things, but you get the idea.
After a bit more laughter, candidate Morty continues. The division I see is between Ricks and Mortys that like the Citadel divided and the rest of us. A rich Rick in the audience shifts in his seat. I see it everywhere I go. Slick Specs, Scales, and Tubbs sneak out of school, climbing down a rope hanging out the window. I see it in our schools where they teach Mortys we're all the same because they're threatened by what makes us unique. Rick and Morty Cop watch as Morty Loco enters a building across the street. I see it on our streets where they give guns to teenagers, so we're too busy fighting each other to fight real injustice. Morty Cop cocks his gun and smirks. Rick Cop adjusts his flak jacket with a look of intrepidation. Working class Rick watches wafers come down the assembly line and loses it, angrily ripping the wafer stamp gun off the factory line. I see it in our factories where Ricks work for a fraction of their boss' salary, even though they're identical and have the same IQ. The supervisor is watching the debates on the TV. Working class Rick enters and screams as he blasts his supervisor with the wafer stamping gun. He fires repeatedly, embedding a wafer cookie logo deep into his supervisor's forehead and body. The Citadel's problem isn't homeless Mortys or outraged Ricks. Working class Rick looks out the office window onto the assembly line window, realizing everyone just saw him murder his boss.
Holy shit.
He hurries out of the office. Working class Rick speeds across a catwalk as Rick's security closes in.
He's headed for the flavor core.
Working class Rick punches a few keys on the door's keypad. It opens. He runs inside as the door shuts behind him, and security Rick closes in. Working class Rick runs to a panel and punches buttons that lower blast shields in the chamber. Simple Rick is hooked up to a machine in the center of the room. His memory plays on a screen above, causing him to twitch and discharging fluid from his brain into a tube that runs into a complex series of tubes. The Citadel's problem is the Ricks and Mortys feeding on the Citadel's death. Working class Rick slumps to the floor as security Ricks bang on the blast shields outside. The audience is captivated as candidate Morty continues. But I've got a message for them. From the Ricks and Mortys keeping it alive, you're outnumbered. The entire amphitheater bursts into applause and cheering. Campaign manager Morty watches the ovation on the monitor, amazed. On screen, his candidate waves, leaving the stage. Campaign manager Morty
Not Morgan.
I don't believe it. I can't believe it.
I know. That's why you're fired. He pats his campaign manager on the shoulder and walks away. Campaign manager Morty stands there, dumbfounded. Juggling Rick reproaches him somewhat bashfully.
Sounds like you're looking for work. I can offer a very enticing compensation package. First, let's talk benefits.
All right. End of Act 1. Act 2. Working class Rick sweats and paces like a caged tiger. Simple Rick, whose brain is being milked for love juice, murmurs to himself as he twitches. Simple Rick.
That's Aaron.
I thought I was slow, Rick, but okay. Daddy.
Aaron.
Oh,
Did
Aaron?
we lose Aaron too?
I don't know.
okay. So, okay.
Looks like we lost her, like she's gone for right now.
Daddy loves you. That's Daddy's good girl.
Your life is a lie, man. All your lives are lies. Don't you get it? They told us we were special because we were Ricks, but they stripped us of everything that made us unique.
Negotiator cops are outside a glass-paneled room, trying to coax working class Rick out of a flavor chamber. The lead one talks into a megaphone.
We know how you feel. We're working stiff, Ricks, just like you, but our assembly line is justice. I want a portal gun, unregistered, untraceable, with enough fluid to take me off this goddamn prison.
The lead negotiator Rick is approached by negotiator Rick 2. The media's outside.
Well, keep them there.
Rick correspondent, a Rick with 2 scars and several facial burns, wraps up. Anyway, so yeah, the suspect says the Citadel is a lie, built on lies and some other shit. We now see the correspondent in a 3-way split screen with the 2 Rick news anchors. I say we appreciate the life you have, because it can always be worse. Back to you, Ricks.
I'll.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rick. 71C. That fucking guy. Tell me about it.
The news goes full screen as the Rick anchor continues. An image of candidate Morty is over his shoulder.
Meanwhile, in election news, an unexpected turn of events as Morty from the Morty party soars to the top of the polls.
Candidate Morty is giving a press conference. Rick reporters shove their microphones at him. We hear a cacophony of Morty, Morty, Morty. Yes.
Morty, what's your original reality and where's your Rick?
Gosh, we moved around so much it's hard to remember. I see every Rick as my Rick. I hope they see me as their Morty. The reporters laugh, completely taken in by his charms. Campaign manager Morty is drinking at a bar, watching candidate Morty on TV.
Another, please, with less water.
The Morty bartender gives him a drink. Hey, cheer up, pal. A Morty's going to be president. Who would have believed that?
Not me.
Oh, I'd believe that. Morty is capable of just about anything.
Campaign manager Morty looks up to see Deep Throat Rick, a disheveled Rick wearing a dirty trench coat and drinking next to him.
Well, if enough Ricks feel the way you do, he just might win.
That's what I'm afraid of.
He slides over a Mania folder.
What's this?
The truth.
Deep Throat Rick downs his drink, exits. Campaign Manager Morty opens the folder, pages through contents. We can't see them. His eyes widen.
Haven't taken aim at the system. Are you afraid at all for your safety?
I'd rather live in hope than fear. If I had to fear anything, I'd fear other people being afraid of fear itself. But no, I'm not afraid. Campaign Manager Morty, jaw dropped, looks up at the TV. The Morty Town Locos, 4 gangster Mortys, shirts off, covered in tats, are in a dirty living room with blacked out windows. They're watching Candidate Morty on the TV.
Hey, Rickman, when there's a Morty president, you gonna lick my balls or what?
Including a sketchy Rick with long, stringy hair, who cooks a green liquid with complex lab equipment. Sketchy Rick?
Shit, grandson, you keep me peeling squall gums and slapping nib-nibs. I'll lick whatever ain't nailed down.
They all laugh and high-five. Work doesn't have to be all work. The door is kicked open. Rick and Morty cops storm in, guns drawn.
Hands in the air.
What the hell, man? What the hell in hell?
You guys doing a little chemistry homework with Grandpa?
Is this what I think it is?
Bootleg portal fluid.
Sketchy Rick pushes over the equipment and shoots a portal. It looks like a regular portal for a beat, but as the Rick walks into it, it peels apart and lands on top of him. His flesh disintegrates as if he's going into a portal, molecule by molecule.
Ah, guess his math was off. Search the place.
Rick Cop goes into a hallway. Rick Cop hears a sound from a bedroom. He draws his gun and inches toward the open door. Rick Cop expertly rolls into the room, gun raised. Reveal a scared Morty in the middle of his dirty child's bedroom, crying.
Art, are you my new Rick?
Rick Cop is touched. He lowers his gun.
It's okay, Morty.
Rick Cop extends a hand. Rick scoops scared Morty up with his free arm like a toddler. Scared Morty stabs Rick Cop in the shoulder with a shoulder blade with a knife. Rick Cop screams in anguish and instinctively blasts Scared Morty with his gun while flinging him across the room. Scared Morty, already dead, hits a nursery mobile, which plays a haunted lullaby as the boy's body drapes like a dish rag over the edge of a crib beneath. Morty Cop enters, gun drawn, sees Rick Cop on the ground, holding his shoulder.
Jesus.
He stabbed me. He got me bad, Morty.
Morty Cop holsters his gun and kneels down to attend to Rick.
Shh, it's okay. You're okay.
Oh, you were right. Oh, everything I learned at the academy was...
It doesn't matter. Nothing's wrong with putting your faith in a Morty.
Morty Cop slowly lifts Rick Cop to his feet.
You just gotta pick the right one.
Rick Cop smiles. As Morty Cop helps Rick Cop out of the room, Rick Cop realizes something.
Why is there a crib in here?
Something they do to make you feel bad.
They walk past the cuffed Morty Town Locos.
Oh man, look at all this paperwork.
Go to the car and grab a medipack. Let me worry about this.
Rick Cop walks out. Morty Cop walks to the portal fluid vat, pops a cartridge from his sidearm, and drops it into the liquid. Then cranks a dial up the vat up to maximum. Rick tends to his wound, leaning against the squad car. Morty walks out. Behind him, explosions rock the house as the entire thing disintegrates.
See? No more paperwork.
What happened?
Same old story. Morty's killing Mortys.
Scales reaches for a megafruit hanging from a megafruit tree. He stands on Speck's shoulders, who's on Slick's shoulders.
Almost got it. Almost got it.
A laser shot rings out. The Mortys tumble to the ground. They look up to see a farmer Rick with his dog creature. He fires a laser shotgun at the ground near them.
Hey, you all will get the hell away from my damn mega fruit.
The Mortys freak out and make a run for it. Slick stands his ground.
Come on.
Looks like we've got ourselves a tough guy. Morty. Stick him, boy.
The creature tears after Slick. Speck grabs Slick by the arm, shaking him out of his trance. The four Mortys yell and run as they're chased by Farmer Rick and his dog creature. They tumble down a hill into the river below.
Come back here. I don't wear this dag nab hat and commit to this rural character so you can eat for free while you come of age.
The Mortys are carried downstream by the river. The four Morty tears sit around a campfire. Slick is mid-story.
Meanwhile, Rick's over in the corner with an armful of eggs yelling, "Run, Morty, run! Run? Motherfucker, we're on a web."
The other Mortys laugh.
I'd spend all day with a Googa if it meant I never had to hand a Rick another screwdriver.
That dude loves screwdrivers. Hello, there's other tools, you know. It's like, you sure you don't want a hammer this time? Some pliers?
I'd love to hand Rick some pliers just once. It would be like a vacation to hand him some pliers.
We bitch and moan, but we love going on adventures as much as they do. And what would we be without a Rick anyway?
The others murmur in agreement.
Free.
The other kids fall silent for a moment. Then,
Oh, come on, Slick. I bet you're next, Rick.
It's not gonna make a difference. I could have 1,000 Ricks and nothing would ever change. I'm not like the rest of you.
we know your sleeves are rolled up.
No, I'm a vat, Morty.
Slick stands, lifts up his shirt to reveal he has no belly button and a barcode tattooed on his body. The other three gasp.
I was designed in a lab by Ricks to be the perfect Morty. And yet again and again, I watch as my Ricks keep dying. It's all my fault. I'm a bad luck Morty, and science can't fix bad luck.
Speck squares off with him.
Hey, I don't want to hear that kind of talk. You're the best Morty I know. And if science can't fix bad luck, then maybe wishes can.
The two hug. Candidate Morty shakes his hands with working class Ricks. Security force Ricks in black uniforms scan the perimeter for suspicious looking Ricks. Hey there, how you doing? Great to meet you.
I'm a plumber, sir. I'm a Rick, and I'm a plumber.
That doesn't sound like Rick work. You didn't come to the Citadel to be a plumber, did you?
Ha ha! I sure didn't, sir.
A clone-making Ricks holds out a Rick baby.
Mr. Morty, Mr. Morty, I cloned myself so you can kiss me as a baby.
Candidate Morty kisses the baby, then thrusts it into the air. This is just like a Morty baby. The crowd cheers. Everyone is taking pictures. Candidate Morty goes to a face paint Morty and extends his hand. Face paint Morty shakes it. How can I change your Citadel, Morty?
You can die.
Face paint Morty pulls a laser pistol and shoots Candidate Morty through the shoulder. Security Ricks tase and tackle him. The crowd screams as he's dragged away. Rick's and Morty's gather around candidate Morty as he clutches his wound laying on the sidewalk. I'm okay. I'm okay.
Hey, Tim, did you want me to take over or do you want to keep going?
I can keep going. Morty Cop and Rick Cop enter the Creepy Morty, a weird go-go club where Mortys dance for other Mortys.
You look like you could use a good time. One dance for 10, two for 25.
No, thank you. And bad math.
They move past some businessman Mortys having a good time as a Morty dancer dances. Haha, yeah, this is a good time.
What is this place?
The creepy Morty, as a wise man once said. Don't think about it.
They walk over to a booth with a tough-looking Morty, Big Morty, eating food with his fingers. He's flanked by two Morty goons wearing sunglasses and black turtlenecks under blazers.
Come on, there's someone important I want you to meet.
Oh, Babala.
Big Morty gives Morty Cop a big welcome, shakes Rick's hand. They take a seat at the booth.
Thank you for taking care of those Morty Town loco scumbags. Oh, those were bad Mortys. Bad Mortys.
Big Morty snaps his fingers. A Morty goon pulls out an envelope of cash and hands it to Morty Cop.
The Citadel was supposed to be that sanctuary from the systems that control the universe, but it ended up just being corrupt. In Morty Town, the rules are simple. Big Morty keeps the peace.
Morty Cop slides the stack of bills to Rick Cop.
And he takes care of those who help him do it.
Rick Cop looks down at the stack, counting the bills, considering this opportunity.
You're right. Ricks are inherently selfish, narcissists, and annihilate those who sold out their dream. I'll drink to that.
Rick Cop looks up from the money.
So, what's your excuse?
The Mortys are taken aback.
You've been telling me all day this is a jungle you can only survive by thinking like a predator. But it looks to me like you're just a bunch of scavengers feeding off the rot.
He pushes the money back. Big Morty and the goons get frosty. Morty Cop tries to defuse.
All right, okay. He's just messing with us. Come on, man. Take the money. Don't be another schmuck who gave up everything for a place that never gave you anything back.
Oh, they gave me one thing. A badge.
Morty Cop clocks the goons going for their guns.
Smartest man in the universe.
Morty Cop punches the goons. Rick and Morty Cop run for cover as the goons open fire. Everyone else in the bar hides and takes cover. Rick and Morty flip a table, firing back at the goons. A Morty dressed as a cowboy hides behind a pole.
They're just props.
Other Morty dancers flee in the chaos as the firefight takes out the remaining Morty goons. When the fire stops, Morty Cop is on top of Big Morty.
Not so big now, are you?
I never was. It was figurative.
He's about to kill Big Morty when
That's enough.
Rick Cop trains his gun on his partner.
If we don't kill him, he'll talk.
Rick Cop takes a step closer. He cocks his gun.
If you do, I'll talk.
Cowboy Morty Dancer gathers his stuff.
One thing's for sure. Y'all don't have to worry about Cowboy Morty talking. He's just gonna mosey on out of here.
Rick Cop keeps his gun trained at Morty Cop. Morty Cop eventually puts his hands up, drops his gun.
Rick should have never brought Morty's onto the Citadel, man. It's a messed up place. I just want to go home and go to school and play. Rick.
Yeah, Grandpa Rick, please take us home. I don't want to be a crime lord anymore. Oh, guns scare me.
Both Mortys start crying and begging him to take them home.
Oh, shut the hell up. I'm not taking you home, and I'm not turning you in. Oh, there's no justice on the Citadel. But this is Morty Town, and in Morty Town,
Rick Cop slides the gun to Big Morty.
Big Morty keeps the peace.
He walks out. Big Morty looks at the gun in his hand. A sinister smile creeps across his face. Rick Cop walks outside as the backup arrives. He gets on his knees with his hands in the air. What the hell happened in there?
Morty's killing Morty's.
Negotiator Rick holds up a portal gun on the outside of the Flavor Core blast shields. Roxane, you there?
Okay, man. Okay. We got you your portal gun.
Working Class Rick momentarily deactivates the blast shields. A tiny portal opens up in the room, and a Rick hand comes through with a portal gun and lays it on the ground. The hand retracts and the portal closes. Working Class Rick picks up the gun and inspects it. After he's satisfied, he holsters it and walks over to Simple Rick. He starts hitting buttons and pulls the hose out from the back of his head. Alarms start going.
What the hell's he doing?
Working Class Rick wakes the Simple Rick up.
Where
Where am I?
A bad place, but you're going to be in a better one soon.
Simple Rick stands up. Working Class Rick shoots a portal.
No, 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 no!
Working Class Rick pushes Simple Rick through. We hear screams as blood mists out of the portal. The cops all wince.
God damn it! You tried to kill me with a fake portal. I'm a Rick. I'm more Rick than any of you. Then you should know you just killed your only leverage. Then come and get me, motherfuckers.
The Rick SWAT team uses a laser to cut a hole in the door of the Flavor Core. They're about to charge in when
Stop!
everyone stops. Tycoon Rick, a Rick with a lab coat over a suit and a tall white hat, walking with a cane topped by a wafer cookie, walks toward the front of the crisis.
I'm Rick D. Sanchez III, owner of this here wafer establishment, and I say that Rick is right, and he's more Rick than any of you.
He's a terrorist.
What Rick isn't? This citadel was founded by Ricks, for Ricks to be free. What's your name, young man?
Rick, and I'm
The same age as me. I know. How long have you worked here?
15 years.
What the hell have we become? Whatever time you were going to make him serve, he served it. It ends now. Come with me, friend,
Where are we going?
to your new life, which starts with walking the fuck out of here.
Working Class Rick walks with Tycoon Rick down the assembly line past working class former co-workers.
Yo, J22, give him hell.
This inspires the rest of the factory Ricks to whoop and holler and applaud and whistle. Working Class Rick looks around at it all, waving back, taking it in.
There's a Rick that held a factory hostage after murdering his boss and several coworkers. The factory made cookies, flavored them with lies.
Press and public applaud as Tycoon Rick and Working Class Rick head to an awesome-looking car waiting outside for them. Tycoon Rick smiles and unlocks it with a key fob, then hands it to Working Class Rick. The door opens, beckoning to Working Class Rick.
He made us all take a look at what we're doing. And in the bargain, he got a taste of real freedom, not some simulated bullshit in a can.
As Working Class Rick heads for the car, Tycoon Rick stays behind him, raises a gun, and fires. The gun makes a silencer-type sound. Working Class Rick gets a stupid, stunned grin on his face. We pull out of his grinning face as we dissolve to the wafer factory. He's still grinning, eyes closed, twitching, as the memory of walking through the factory and to his new car replays on a loop on a monitor attached to his helmet. He's strapped onto the same chair that Simple Rick was on in earlier. Fluid is being milked from the back of his head.
We captured that taste, and we keep giving it to him so he can give it right back to you. And every bite of new Simple Rick Freedom Wafer selects.
Glamour shot. Tight close-ups of a wafer cookie being assembled, chocolate descending onto a wafer, etc.
Come home to the unique joy that comes with shattering the grand illusion. Come home to Simple Rick.
The four Morty Tears arrive at a barbed wire fence surrounding a giant swirling portal. Slick walks up to the fence and bashes the lock open. The gate swings open.
After you.
The boys exchange nervous looks and walk in. They approach the rim of the portal.
There it is, the wishing portal.
They say for your wish to come true, you have to give up something important. For me, that's my panini maker. He grabs a panini maker from his backpack, steps to the edge. I wish for 1,000,000 sandwiches. Throws it in, then. Oh yes, I see the irony. Scales walks up.
I wish that my next Rick has some kind of degenerative bone disease and that when he dies, he leaves me a treasure.
He takes off a fang necklace and throws it in. Specs walks up, takes out a harmonica, throws it in.
I wish to meet a Jessica someday.
Slick walks up to the portal and stares into it.
None of those things are gonna happen, you know. Morty's wishes never come true, not on the Citadel. Then why did you bring us here? Because I wish that would change. I wish anything about this life would change. I wish we could stop being assigned to Ricks. I wish we could all be free.
Well, I hope you're putting something pretty goddamn important in there.
Me too. I doubt it.
Slick leaps into the portal.
No!
Flick!
They all stand on the edge of the portal, look down into it.
Maybe it went somewhere nice.
Garbage dump. Stand back.
A bunch of garbage released from above pours into the portal. Security Force Ricks toss a limp face paint monkey onto the floor of the airlock bay. They stare down at him as he comes to.
He had to be stopped. He couldn't be allowed to win.
Then you should have worked on your aim, bro.
He's alive? No, you gotta listen to me. I worked for him. I was his campaign manager.
He shows them his credentials.
That Morty is not what he seems.
Yeah, well, no Morty seems like a president.
He won?
Yeah.
A glass door closes between them. Face Paint Morty bangs on the door and produces the Mania folder he received in the bar from his satchel. He's yelling, but we can't hear him.
It was a blowout.
Face Paint Morty is ejected into space.
I would hardly call it a blowout. It was almost close enough to trigger a recount.
Jesus, what are you? Joke security now too?
Rick Cops sits in the interrogation room, hands cuffed on the table. Two security force Ricks enter. One stands by the door while the other heads for Rick Cop.
Why am I still here? I already confessed to everything.
Your case has been reviewed. You're free to go.
Rick
But-
Cop's cuffs are undone by the other security force Rick.
But I violated at least a dozen departmental codes.
New department, new codes.
New Citadel.
The security force Ricks exit. Rick Cop seems a bit unnerved by this new status quo. Scales, Specs, and Tubbs arrive back at the school. The front doors are being locked by Rick Teacher.
Did we miss graduation? Where are the new Ricks?
No graduation, no new Ricks. The school's curriculum is changing.
To what?
I don't know, and I don't have to know. I have been fired. Good luck, turds.
He walks away drinking from his flask. A smile creeps over all the kids' faces.
Holy crap! Slick's wish came true.
Tycoon Rick enters and sits at the head of a large oval table. Several wealthy businessmen Ricks surrounded as well.
Sorry I'm late, Mr. President. Had a little crisis at work.
He kicks his feet up on the table and lights a cigar.
Worth it.
President Morty, formerly Candidate Morty, is in the middle of having his hair styled by his hairstylist Rick. It's quite all right. Hope you don't mind. I'm getting a presidential haircut. Let's just take a little more off the top, please. So, how can I help you fellas? You can help us by understanding President Morty. It's business that built this citadel. It's business that ran things from behind the council, and it's business that will continue to run it. And as long as you play nice, you'll be very happy. Does he really speak for everyone here? Murmurs of mostly affirmative. Well, I think it's important to be clear. Raise your hand if he speaks for you. The business Ricks, with varying degrees of confidence, shoot up hands. Two business Ricks do not, but the rest finally settle into holding their hands up. President Morty observes in his hair-cutting mirror, then snaps. Security Ricks enter and tase everyone with their hands up. They slump onto the table. The two Ricks that didn't raise their hands are frozen with fear. The hairstylist Rick is also frozen, unsure of what to do.
Is that enough off the top?
I don't know. Is it? The two business Ricks that didn't raise their hands nervously blurt answers.
Yes, God damn it, yes.
I think it's great.
Good. President Morty gets up while security starts dragging the unconscious tycoons out of the room. He walks to a bar and starts pouring himself a drink. This would be a great time for a speech, wouldn't it? The new symbol of the Citadel, an R entwined with an M, unfurls on a giant banner over the original Citadel R symbol. A speech about politics. Rick Cop is finishing putting on his security force uniform. He looks at the new Citadel symbol looming on the wall above him and regards it with uncertainty. About order. The three remaining Morty tiers, now in new Morty Brigade uniforms, load mega fruit into wheelbarrows and roll them past the helpless Rick Farmer, who is flanked by Rick security forces. The Morty tiers look like they're having a great time. Brotherhood. Tycoon Rick's unconscious body is tossed into the airlock. Security Ricks pick up the next business Rick and toss him in too. Power. The president walks with his drink to a large window looking out into space. But speeches are for campaigning. The president looks into his drink. Now is the time for action. We pull back from the president's window. A hiss sound is heard as the business ricks are ejected into space and struggle with their last breath as they drift into frame. Blonde redheads for the damaged coda begins playing. As the camera continues to pull back, we pass the Morty cop, Deep Throat Rick, the Rick teacher, Juggling Rick with 3 balls floating around him, and dozens of others until we land on Campaign Manager Morty, aka Facepaint Morty. A folder floats out of his hands. As the folder opens up, several documents drift out, including a surveillance photo of someone shot during a telescopic lens. Through a telescopic lens, it's Evil Morty. Evil Morty now controls the Citadel of Ricks. End of Act 2. And then a portal opens. Rick and Morty come back into the garage, soaking wet.
Woo! Yeah, Atlantis, baby.
That was amazing.
You got some of that mermaid puss.
I'm really hoping it wasn't a one-off thing and I can see her again. Oh, by the way, hey, you're still not curious about what might have happened at that crazy Citadel place?
Not at all. Morty, that place will never have any bearing over our lives ever again. Unlike that mermaid puss, yeah!
This gets Morty pretty pumped up.
We're going back for seconds. We're gonna do that shit every week. Man, that was Atlantis.
Oh, shit.
End of the episode.
Good job, everyone.
Woo! Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, thanks for taking over the action description, Tim. And it was awesome to listen to you guys while working. Like I had to get some work stuff done. And so anybody on YouTube, I recommend just doing the playlist of all the table reads and listening as you work. It was cool to hear you guys. This was fun. So if you want to stop sharing, Tim, that'll be great. We can see all these beautiful people's faces. And if you guys need to take a break, go ahead and take a break at any moment to go to the bathroom or get a drink, but we'll just already start talking about it for those who don't need to, so we don't have to have that lull. And if you do have to take off, please just let us know so we can say bye. So whoever isn't going to the restroom or getting a drink or taking off right now, what do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, I didn't get to see the episode, but I read a synopsis, and this was not what I was expecting. I mean, the one I heard about was the aliens trying to kill the Ricks, but the Ricks and Mortys are all clones. And then the Ricks and Mortys start killing each other. This one is a little more difficult to figure out. I mean, it seems strange.
Indeed, especially not seeing all the characters. I mean, you guys did a really good job with the voices and stuff, but yeah, but I was just listening to it, although I do think I saw it years ago or something, but I was able to follow along. So I thought it was cool. What else do you guys think?
Having watched it today, it was funny because it was the same voice through the whole episode. You know, the same Ricks and Mortys, even though they had different personalities, they all had the same voices, which was made it great when we were like matching our voices. That made it like more true to the episode. I think everybody did a great job there, especially our dual Sam Neils.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Sam Elliott. Roxane, you did the first one, I think.
Morgan, your connection went out totally.
But you both had that same slow drawl. It was perfect.
That was very, very complicated and hard to keep track of which character you were. It
Yeah,
was
and-
okay until they came back. It was good when you were just going through and going, okay, this is my next one. But when they came back, then it was like, oh crap, which am I?
Insanity. Definitely a challenge. And you guys rose to it. Does anyone know what the tag means at the end of the screenplay? I know it sounds like I know it when I'm asking that, but I don't. I want you to tell me. I
Based
listened to
on
real quick,
watching
but I
it,
don't
it
think it's
seemed
right.
like the scene that was after the credits.
Yeah. Okay, a little end.
I was looking at that in the script too. Yeah, I was like, okay, so there's 2 acts and a tag.
Yeah, which is
Or was there an intro tag?
no, yeah. Like on this thing, it says like normally like tag is not a summary, but it is part of the thing of this, the end of the story, and it comes after the conflict is resolved to type any loose threads stuff. So I guess probably just like
Oh,
what the
is-
characters were doing at the beginning, what happened with them. We get to see them at the end.
Is Rick and Morty only half an hour then? That's why it's only 2 acts?
Well, a lot of like half an hour things are still 5 acts. I don't have the answer of why this is only 2 acts, but they are.
Because I know hour-long things are 5 acts. From things I've studied about screenwriting,
Anyone else
5 or
have more
6
insight?
acts, but this was only 2, so is it less than an hour?
Usually half hour is 3 acts.
Just
Okay,
looked it up. It's a 22-minute show.
okay. Thank
And-
you. I don't know, it was just a question I
Oh wait,
had.
No, it's a good
it
question.
was
Thank you,
20.
guys.
Yeah, 22 minutes.
Because I recently took some screenwriting courses online via Zoom, and I was just curious because I want to do some more storytelling now that school is winding down and not taking up so much time.
Did you guys notice it as acts? Like, oh, this felt like a separate act. I mean, I know they broke it up, or just like we could have just read it and not called them acts, or they could have broken it up somewhere else and just said, oh, look, this is a 10-act screenplay. Look at it. Like, do those even matter?
I was wondering if it was a Cartoon Network commercial alignment or something. If it
Hmm.
was different for that reason. But I did notice that there was like, okay, even though all the characters were exactly the same, there was still like the A plot and the B plot, like the good cop, bad cop plot. And then there was the, the bad Mortys and the campaign manager evil presidential election plot. And then the simple Rick takeover plot. Like there was still through lines, even though it was all the same characters.
Yeah. I
I've
know
never
we're-
seen this show, and I was excited that there was an X-Files reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that was a nice surprise.
Speaking of that.
What?
I think for those of you who do watch the show, it's they're a play on Marty McFly and Doc, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and all the alternate universes, because, oh goodness. From what I've read of the second Back to the Future, there are a ton of alternate universes.
What, you've read of it? You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Maybe we
I
should do a
didn't know- I didn't
table
know there
read
was
here
something
because
to
we'd
read.
excite the crap out of people if we did a table read of Back to the Future too here. It would be so corny and weird and odd, and there'd be a lot of craziness from us, but it would be worth it. Jacob should put it on the list.
All 3 in a row.
Oh,
We
just
did
the
we
second
did
one
the
is
first one.
chaotic.
It is chaotic. I think second one is my favorite and usually is people's least favorite because it's
Really?
chaotic.
Yeah.
Because a certain a-hole gets a lot of certain things that he shouldn't get, but he gets them.
One thing I like about Rick and Morty, it is an anything goes type of thing.
Yeah.
It's the type of show that you can just throw anything you want in it, and everything will just connect somehow.
Yeah, the best episode that comes to mind when you mention that, Tim, was the one where these creatures got into their house, and like they always give you good memories of them, and if you so like then they have like a short neck giraffe friend and some other stuff.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Well, given that it's on Adult Swim, I think that's where it is. Of course, it's anything goes because that's
You gotta be careful when watching it because characters die all the time. Or
yeah, but
worse.
characters die like all the time, and a lot of stuff I've seen. It's not doesn't mean I'm afraid of it.
I know it's part of the comedy, but it's still terrible at the heart of it
For
all.
those that do watch this show, why do you think, because I've never seen it, why do you think it's so massively popular?
Maybe because it's yeah, because like Tim said, it's anything goes.
So it's very different than most of the other stuff out there because it's
Yeah, anything could happen.
so wild.
And it's just clever. I mean, I don't think I ever would have thought of something like that. And
Has it got this like overwhelming sense of like gross boy humor? 'Cause I've
Yeah,
watched
oh, yeah.
2 episodes, this one
definitely does.
included, and I'm like, yeah, it's too gross for me. It's all the belching and the vomit
Yeah, it definitely does.
and the
There's some-
mermaid puss.
Exactly. So, yeah. No, I think you're totally right on that. Eh, for those that do screenwriting, have you guys heard of I know you guys have different opinions on him, but not himself, but the Dan Harmon like story circle. Have you guys seen that diagram and stuff?
I don't
Mm.
remember,
it
but I have
over.
seen it. Yeah.
Send it to me because it might help me in future screenplays.
No, it might. It's
also,
go
I
ahead.
think a better option, in addition to seeing the story circle, you should look up the story circle on YouTube, where the guy uses that story circle to dissect the Batman Dark Knight.
Mm. Awesome. Yeah, but as like Tim was saying, like a Google search will give you like bazillion images of it. But yeah, probably YouTube also help explain it to help you with the screenplays. So that's a good idea.
Because, you know, if we ever do another screenplay thing, I would absolutely love to just kind of have more of them read.
Definitely.
Can't remember what the story circle was, but it reminds me of the heart chart. Have you heard of the heart chart?
No. I haven't.
Jim V. Hart is a screenwriter, and he has his own software called the heart chart. And it's basically you follow each character in your story to make sure that they're having ups and downs, like a heart chart, heart monitor,
Mm.
so that so your characters aren't all flat.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of different ones. out
I
there.
actually had the opportunity to meet Dan Harmon, and I was gonna be bold, so I was like, "Hey, if you need any extra voices for Rick and Morty," I think everybody was appalled that I said that, but I was like, "Hey, gotta be
Yeah.
bold."
Yep, could have happened because of that.
Mhm.
Definitely wouldn't.
You never
without.
know.
Yeah, you don't know.
I'm genuinely impressed with people like that do the main voices, like that there's one person who does both the main voices on this show. Same with like Futurama with Billy West doing all 3 main voices. I just find it so impressive. And to be able to do that every single week. And I know people who are obsessed with this show and how many episodes there are. And to do that for so many years is so amazing and cool.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Since I was mentioned to it, I'll also share some. It's kind of like the hero's journey or whatever, but it's cutting off for me. But yeah, and they do this for maybe every app. You can do this in like smaller pieces or larger pieces. Like you can do it per episode, but you can also do it like per season or even like almost scenes or whatever. But that's all. Okay.
All right, well, let's break down this episode in that chart.
Oh, do you want to?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Let me get back to that then. All right. Share screen, share screen, share screen. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Are these all the same? Okay. So in a comfort zone,
Okay, they're in their living room. They're ready to go to Atlantis.
Mhm. Something they just, well, this one, I wonder if that's going to fit or not. Like that obviously fits, but I wonder if it's going to start over of that, like of the Citadel, the comfort zone thing is like that the Ricks are in charge and run other stuff and treat the Morty's like crap, and the Morty's never win elections and stuff like that is the status quo that start with. That's their kind of current comfort zone. And then what would, I don't want to just take it over and do my stuff. What do you guys think for this?
Well, it's interesting because,
yeah.
as I said, the multiple storylines could follow this, right? Because you've got your bad cop, good cop. They desire something. They desire to end the Morty on Morty crime, or I guess the good Rick cop wants to, and then the kids, they want change, and the presidential elect wants change. So I guess they all want a change.
Mm-hmm.
Simple Rick desires simpleness. Factory worker Rick wants a raise. Okay, then we go to an unfamiliar situation. We got factory worker Rick. He breaks in to the main. He kills his boss. Oh shit! He killed his boss. Now he has to adapt to the new situation. Do they get what he desires? He gets his portal gun. He's going to be free. Oh, but he pays a heavy price for winning by being trapped in the machine. And then we return to status quo with a new flavor of wafer. So they could all go through that.
Yeah. Good job. Exactly.
Thank you. Homework.
So they use it. It works. It can apply to the script we read. That's good. That was a good test. Yeah. Yeah. For the government one, it's like the guy wants to take over, but then it's a bad person in charge again, anyways, at the end. I don't know. For the boss.
It almost works. Yeah, I've seen it, instead of being the overall story, it's each character goes through that circle.
Yeah, it's talked about. It is like you're saying, being specific to the character, saying they desire something. They have an overall change. Cool. All right.
What do people think of the main actor being recast? Because I found that super interesting that a new actor is going to be replacing Rick and Morty.
Do you think they're going to find someone that has like sounds the same as close as possible? And so hopefully people don't notice, they don't know the fact, or do you think they'll go for a different voice?
I might turn in just to see. I was just right before we started, I Googled and found that. And then it also showed that they maybe have inadvertently already found the replacement because there's a TikTok guy that's famous for doing both Rick and Morty. They're like, he would be good. But I guess the question is, can he do the same amount of work? Because not only is he doing the voices, but he's also doing the improv. I'm assuming there's improv. I don't actually know.
There's more to it than just an impression. Yeah. I mean, Jeff Bergman, who does the voice of the Looney Tunes characters, says that they're pretty much all the same with slight variations, and actually taught 2 podcasters how to say the voice. They asked, I don't want to take your job. And he says, you won't. It says Bob Bergen, who voices Porky Pig, said, when someone says, I can do a convincing Porky Pig, and he says, great, now can you do it to Shakespeare?
Yeah. Exactly that. Can you act with it? Can you do all the stuff? Like you said, can you improvise in that voice and all that stuff? But now that you said that, you guys all should go to Kat's Shakespeare thing and do everything in Looney Tune characters.
Rick and Morty mashup.
Yes, we're all invited to participate on Saturday because we have a very small cast, and I think there's 56 characters in the life of Timmons of Athens. So if you're free, a late Saturday afternoon, join us.
Right. And if someone else that watches this in the future loves Shakespeare and wants to read some of that. What's it called? It's, Homes of Fair Corona on Facebook.
Oh, it's two households in Fair Corona, a Shakespeare reading group.
There you go. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
All right. Any other people thoughts on characters on the show? On the
I think it was fun to do another project that I hadn't seen before. Hopefully it helps me improve my voice acting.
Yeah.
I have to agree that it was hard to keep up with because of the different Ricks and Mortys. Remembering who's who. It was a lot. I'm sure watching it makes more sense because it's visual and you're seeing it. But reading through it was a bit challenging.
Trying not to laugh when you're talking back and forth to your own self was also challenging.
Since I watched the episode early, it's like it's other than just the script, there was also a lot of visual jokes in the background that aren't in the script, just like everybody's outfits. So that says something about the contribution of the art department and the animators.
I'm glad you pointed that out. That's great. And with that, I mean, very, very different, but I just saw the titles and stuff. I don't know the details and it's different, but like is the title Oppenheimer, the Chris Nolan thing? He says like, there was no CGI shots in this film, and everybody in CGI that does that works like, yeah, right. And so maybe he means not fully CGI, I don't know, but even that I doubt. But so it's great to like point out the work of
did they
other
really
people and give credit.
Blow up a bomb?
Well, I heard he was doing some bomb type thing like that was kind of going to be practical, at least a part of it, some of it. I'm sure they enhanced it, etc., and other stuff, but yeah. So
Well, it's getting really late for me.
yeah.
I think I gotta shove off.
All
So
right. So
thanks
good
for
job.
the personal invitation to this, and that was really fun.
Yeah, thank you, Tim, and everyone for showing up and doing this awesome stuff.
Yes,
No.
thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. See you guys
Good
in
night.
some parallel universe. Be safe.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
table read Thursday.
Goodbye from the
Hi,
Rickiest of
everyone.
Rex.
Hi, Angela. Bye.
So long.